For better or worse, Capcom is very important to video game history. They became popular and well known shortly after Nintendo Rise to Power. Hell, Capcom damn near rivals Nintendo in the amount of IPs they have. But despite its history, I'm pretty neutral when it comes to this company, as outside of Resident Evil, I've never really bothered with the other series. I didn't play Mega Man or Street Fighter growing up. I'm not a big comic book fan, so Marvel vs. Capcom wasn't catching my attention. And I didn't even get into Resident Evil until the Umbrella Chronicles. But I do understand why this company is so loved and hated. For many, this company represents their childhood. Some of the best games ever made came from Capcom, and they provided so much for the industry. But on the other hand, Capcom fell into that group of companies and developers who took advantage of patches and DLC to allow them to release glitchy games or lock away content for a price. In fact, some may feel Capcom was one of the worst offenders of this. And to me, I feel the height of this arrogance peaked around the time Operation Raccoon City released. This was a time when Capcom felt they could do no wrong. We could put anything on the shelves and mouth breathers will buy it cause Resident Evil is on the cover. Many may feel that's very shameful of Capcom and it's very disrespectful to fans, but here's the thing. Unfortunately, they were right with this game. Operation Raccoon City, a spin-off that wasn't even directly developed by Capcom, which was also critically panned by most, still managed to sell 2.1 million copies within a couple months. Yeah, I was shocked too when I read that. This game, even after patches, was still buggy as hell. Story mode, in my opinion, was a joke. Human enemy hitboxes didn't make sense, like seriously, pop off a headshot and nothing. Not to mention, most common B.O.W.s were bullet sponges. You had to buy a second half of story mode just to play the spec-off missions that focuses more on the Resident Evil side of things, so when you bought it, you only got half a game. Speaking of which, the PS3 version never ended up getting that Nemesis Versus mode. Slant 6 even managed to fuck up the aiming. Yeah, I'm not shitting you. They have it where there's two aiming reticles at the same time. One that is the crosshairs on the screen, and another that is the traditional laser sight that Resident Evil 4 introduced. But the laser sight sways in and out of the crosshairs, so aiming ends up being confusing. Why would you do that? That makes no fucking sense. But I think the biggest offense this game makes is that it's one of the biggest cock teases that has ever come out of Capcom. For years, people have been begging Capcom to remake Resident Evil 2 after how amazing the original remake was, but for the longest time, we would never get it. Capcom either said nothing on the matter, or gave us glimpses of what it could be like with the Dark Side Chronicles or this game. I mean, it's obvious they knew people wanted it, but instead of just giving the fans what they wanted, they give us this mess. Thankfully, they seem to have finally pulled their heads out of their asses since, well, the remake is finally happening. Well, as long as they don't pull a Mega Man Legends 3 and cancel the fucking thing. Now, it's not to say that there wasn't some positives. The bleeding effect that attracts zombies was a little clever. Being able to become infected and having to cure yourself or let one of your teammates off you was kinda cool. Plus, with this game having a focus on online play and before the cheaters and hackers, the competitive modes, I admit, weren't bad. It wasn't the greatest versus mode ever, but it did what it needed to. And I'll gladly admit, Heroes mode was pretty enjoyable. Playing a survival last man standing mode as your favorite characters that appeared during this time was pretty awesome. Not to mention, Resident Evil 6's Survivors mode made me appreciate this mode that much more. The only thing I will say is, though, I think that helicopter dude kinda can fuck off. Like, seriously, you could have thrown Wesker in there, that would have been much better. But for me, this just wasn't enough to be able to look over its numerous faults. And with this game focusing mainly on online play, it obviously wouldn't remain relevant even if it was considered a good game. Unless you're a die-hard Resident Evil fan, don't even bother. Hell, even if you are, I say tread carefully.